Good morning. Welcome to our Hsing Chuan program for this Wednesday morning. We are working our way through the returning fist number 1, first class of our November session. So we're getting into the opening phases of the opening postures of the set. We're going to look at some more details of those, and we're going to start to add a little bit more, as well as working on the foundational postures that kind of blend to make our linking fist set. Okay, let's get ourselves warmed up for this morning. So we'll get the feet in the ground, just let the head rise and fall. And looking from side to side. And ear to the shoulder on one side and the other. Again on the first side. And the second, let the head roll. Do some gentle half circles. Now, keeping the jaw closed, we'll take the chin up and around. And then the other way. Okay, shoulders are going to go forward and up, and then back and down, and again, up and back and down. One more time. And then we're going to reverse. We'll come up the back, around and down in the front. Last one. A few arm circles to warm up the shoulders, out and around. And then the other way, round and down. And then we're going to reach and droop and hang to one side. And up and over to the other. Again to the first side. And the second. I'm going to bring those arms up over the head. I'm going to twist the trunk. Let the arms settle. Twist and let them rise. And settle. One more time. Rise. And settle. Then we're going to reverse. We'll come up and around. And let's let those arms go loose as we warm up the trunk. Okay, we'll warm up the hips. A couple rotations around one way. And around the other. One more time. First way. And the second. Okay, leg circles going from the inside to the outside. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Outside to the inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And shake it out the legs a bit, warm up the knees around one way and around the other. One more time, first way and the second, and a little bit of a hamstring stretch down. And we can roll to come back up. Okay, let's start ourselves out with the review of some of the element and animal fists we've been checking in with since we started this study. We've been working on the different footwork patterns, but we're not going to individualize those as much today without the arm work. Let's just go in with the arm work to start. So starting from our some toy position, our wood fist, where we're driving and drilling out with that lower arm. We're going to push to get a rear arm strike and then lead arm. And we've got that shuffling step. Press through, press through, press through, press through. When we turn around, you can change your lead leg, work it on the other side. So we're driving, 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 driving. We'll keep going just a little longer. One of the main things you want to think about is I am not punching with my arm. My arm is delivering the mass of the drive and thrust from the ground. So I'm delivering that mass, not throwing just the arm, but driving all the mass of that thrust against the ground and my body's forward motion. One more time on the other side. So we're spiraling, punch, drawing, punch, drawing, punch. Good. We had a second version of working on wood fist, and we're going to see this, a version of this kind of show up in the set as well. And this is where we're going to sneak in with that back foot. So we're going to settle in the front hip to deliver the rear arm, choke up, and then drive out for the lead. So we go 1 and 2. 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Same on the other side. 1, 2. Drive, push. Drive, push. Step up, press out. Let's do one more pass with that one. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Push through on the other side. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, we said that we had fire fist showing up in the set in the linking form. We've got this pounding of the mortar that we're kind of making our circular gathering with, but in our walking pattern, we're doing it with sort of what's called something like an S curve in our arms, and we're going step out, gather, draw up as you settle, wedge with the lead arm, and punch with the rear. Gather and drive. Gather, drive. Remember, a lot of these postures and movements, they're big and they're exaggerated because we're trying to get all these kinetic chains to learn how to fire together. So we're not individualizing a limb. We're connecting mass exchanges and pressure and thrust against the ground to help us to deliver power in our techniques. Last couple of movements for fire. So we're gathering, driving, gathering, driving, gathering, and driving. Okay, earth comes into this quite distinctly. But in the set, we're actually going to be going backwards, and we'll talk about those diagonals later. But let's look at earth as its pattern in our classic walking. So here, this is where we get that covering with the one arm, those drilling kind of crossing punches, that sneaky inside rising uppercut, or throws and forearm checks, as well as these kind of hammering motions with the other side. So we're gathering through, we're shuffling in, we're driving out. We shuffle in, we drive out. A couple more. So 1, push out of the ground. And we're catching these quick little movements where we're going from a forward biased weight position to where we put a little bit of pressure into the back so we can step and open, and then drive back into that forward position again. Gather, push, gather. So we want these nice adaptive foot patternings, shifting, gathering, driving, shifting, gathering, and driving. Okay, if you want to get more details, remember we got a lot more details in the earlier lessons. So let's go to some of our animal techniques that come into the set. We were talking about how Phoenix comes in there, at least the Phoenix arm techniques, not the knee, but we've got that crossing, the tearing potential, and the gathering. Now in the walk, we're going to also work on this mobility in the upper back and shoulders to open and close quickly. So let's work on that. And we've got a nice knee technique in here. So we're gathering through We're tearing that open as we drive the knee in, and then we're gathering through and thrust to that double punch. Shift a little, come through, tear open, and punch, gather, pull, and punch. Couple more, pull it open, punch, tear, drive, tear, drive. Last couple passes. So about another 15, 20 seconds here. Open, close, pull, and punch. Again, unification, unification, unification. We're not individualizing segments of the body. The whole idea is the body works as a whole. Pull through, drive out, gather, punch through. Okay, dragon shows up in the set in a few different ways. Last week we were talking about the opening fist metal and how we're going to then use dragon as our turnaround, but we also see dragon inside the set. And dragon has a lot of work for building springy potential in the legs and this kind of idea of rending, pulling and pushing simultaneously with both arms. So we're gathering up and we're driving down as we go to hook stance and settle, up, inside, kick, and down. Kick and settle, gather, drive down, gather, and drive down. Couple more, up and settle, gather, and pound, gather, and pound, and pound. Last pass on this one. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Turning it around. Last one. Gather. So these circular motions can help us with catching things, hooking things, gathering, pulling, creating locks, creating pressures. We've got this inside stomping motion as we're kind of gathering and pulling, gathering and pulling. The last one we've been focusing on is bear eagle, because we have the uppercut punch kind of coming out of the bear eagle technique. But here as we're walking, we're getting this heavy hand, this rolling, heavy, smashing, driving technique, and then we're popping up for uppercut inside. So we're gathering, pounding, shuffling, uppercut, gathering through, step and pound, drive and uppercut. A couple more. Down with the palm, in with the uppercut. Lift up your insides, coil, drop your insides, pound down. Sink into that, thrust through the ground, and drive that rear arm uppercut. Gather, pound, uppercut. One more pass of this one. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Yeah, 1 and 2. Let's leave that there for now because I'm just seeing our time disappearing. I want to make sure we get some time on the next section of the set. So one of the other things we've been trying to learn how to do is step in our diagonal shifts. So we want to be able to shift back and forth, kind of zigzagging. So we're talking about how the wall hanging behind me sets up my center line, and I want to be able to shift off of that center, back to that center, backwards, off center, in. So we learn how to move off angle and in. So we're really driving this idea of being able to move in diagonal patterns as opposed to backpedaling in straight lines. We shift and we move off angle. Coming forward, we don't just walk straight in, we're covering and cutting angles as we come back and forth. In the set, we start to use both our phoenix and our fire and our wood, and it really focuses. This is why this set is a branch off of the linear patterned element in animal fists, this starts to now have both forwards and backwards motion in it, which we don't really see in the other sets. So let's think about using the idea of the phoenix. So we're pushing in, we're loading up the leg, and we're driving off angle. That could be just in terms of a flinch. Ho, ho, ho. And you're getting your hands up. We circle that around, and then we're doing that again. We're opening. And then here's an interesting study in sort of explosive power, the idea of the pounding of the mortar, where we've got this, one of the concepts that Phoenix gets us is the idea of opening from core and closing back into center. And we get this really explosive version of that as we pound in and boom, everything's condensed. Let's try it again. So we're here and we go 1, we push off, we roll back, we cross our wrists. 2, we push off on that diagonal, we roll back, pound. 1, 2, pound. One more time. 1, 2, condense in. So our next version of those diagonal patterns is to contain this sense of condensing and then to link that to our dantian and to our core so we can kind of move and shift our internals while staying in that condensed position, so then we can drive out and explode into our fire fist. So let's put that into the chain. So we've come back and we've hit, we've condensed everything, and we step out on the 45. We're drawing everything in. We're really getting set up to thrust and drive as we come back online for that fire fist. And we're wedging with the arm, we're protecting with our guard. So if I change angles, I've stepped back here, 1. I step in and I drive out. Good. The third part of our sort of zigzag session is to link our earth fist work. So not the footwork of the classic movement. Now we're taking concepts and we're building on them with different types of footwork, but similar movements. So one of the motions we have for earth, from the outside to the inside, outside to the inside, this covering, covering, covering. That can be in terms of hammering. That can be in terms of checking. That can be someone's holding on to and you're pinning inside the body and rolling over them. And then we have these short, driving, diagonal, crossing fists. So I can be crossing through the body on this side, and then suddenly it sneaks around and pops up to the inside. So that means if someone's got hands on us, we can come around from the inside, hit low, check into their body, or straight up and inside to the jaw. Lots of places we can use it. Or we can be hammering. We can pin with one hand and be driving with the other. There's lots in there. But now we're going to combine that with moving on those angles and moving backwards. So we're going to move back. We're going to step with our left. We're going to cover with our left. As we draw back into an empty stance here, we're going to scoop through. Then we're going to do the same as we come back on that center line. So here I am lining back up at the center, covering 1, and then we do a third one while we're in that position. So from our fire fist, boom, we go step and cover 1, step and cover 2, cover 3. So if I'm moving on this, in this plane, I've done my pound the mortar and punch, and I go cover 1, step back, cover 1, 2. One more time. I have made my fire fist. I go 1, 2, and 3. So let's do that whole zigzag section, dot, 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 out and back, back. So we get our first one is a backwards with the phoenix. So we go step back one, cross those wrists, step back two, pound the mortar. Step out one, step in with fire. Step back, earth fist one, step back, earth fist one and two. Let's do that with my back turn. Might be easier to follow. So we are up here, we go phoenix one on that backwards diagonal, cross the wrists, phoenix two, pound the mortar, step contain, step out, explode into fire. Roll back, earth one on the diagonal, back to our center line, one and two. Good. Now, we're going to add one more piece to this and then link it into the set and talk about the beginnings of the set a bit more. Just give me 1 second though, my shoe is falling off. So, let's do that section. We've gone phoenix one, cross, phoenix two, pound. Step in one, step out fire. Step back, cover earth. Step back, earth one and two. And now here comes our bear eagle. We're going to roll back, and we're going to throw an uppercut. So once I get my earth fists, 1, 2, 3, I'm going to drive with an uppercut. There's that part of the bear eagle in there. Let's try that a couple more times. So I've gone phoenix step back one, cross, phoenix step back two, pound the mortar. Contain that potential, deliver that explosively. Cover, diagonal step back one, diagonal step back one, two, roll back, throw an uppercut. So our uppercut for earth kind of came in from the inside, boom. Our uppercut for the bear eagle is about a wind up out here, rolling and uppercutting, rolling and uppercutting. So we're going from our earth fist being out in the front, and then we're going to roll that back, dip in, get that load in the leg, and drive into a forward position. One more time. I'll take it from this direction because I think it gives more details on this arm. So I've gone phoenix one, cross, phoenix two, pound, contain, launch, shuffle back, earth one, earth two and three, wind up, shuffle in an uppercut. Okay, time is doing its thing. So let's go back to our opening posture of the set. And we're talking how we're learning a bit of Qigong as well. And there's Qigong threaded all throughout our Hsing Chuan because of the intent behind it. These different flavors, these different feelings. In our elements, we're engaging with the organ networks as well. But in this case, we're talking about this idea of, the energy circuit that goes up the back and down through the front. So I have this kind of lifting, brushing, opening up, and then we're stacking, we're pushing that energy, if you want to think of it that way, down and in. And we're talking about how we're going to load the right leg while we do that. So I'll turn my back for a couple because I think sometimes easier to follow. So I'm on a 45-degree angle from the direction I'm going to open up the form. I'm going to open up the form towards the wall hanging, but I'm 45 degrees off of it right now. So I'm going to go 1, 2, pick up, and I coil into the right as I press down. I'm then going to turn the trunk while lightening up my left leg, keeping my right knee tracking my right foot and my right hip tracking that knee as I coil. 1, 2, I bring the hand on top, and 3, we're going to step out to metal. So we go 1, down, coil, condense so the arms are one on top of the other, and then press to the palm. 2 more. 1, 2, down, spiral, gather, palm. Last one. 1, 2, down, spiral, palm. And we want to think of that elbow coming forward. You don't want a palm strike with all sorts of openness in this space. You want that elbow down. So if we don't quite catch with the palm, we're catching with the forearm and the elbow as we drive in. So let's go to the openings of the set. I'm going to head over to the corner over here. This is where we're going to start it up. So I'm 45 degrees. I'm going to be heading down the direction of the boards of the floor. So I'm 45 degrees to those to start. I go lift, brush, gather, settle, coil, condense, palm. So we start out with wood fist, punch. We had this explosive version of earth where we cover and we slide the foot back. Then we're going to come forward with wood again. And this is where we link in that section we were just doing. Cover, step back, Phoenix 1, cross, step back, Phoenix 2, pound, step out, condense, draw, come back, explode to fire. Step back for earth 1, step back with 1 and 2, and here's our new piece. Roll back, boom, and uppercut. Okay, we've got enough time to do that a couple more times today. So, 1, gather, press down, coil. Don't let your hips track to the front. Keep that hip over top of the weight-bearing foot, right leg. Condense, push through, 1, wood fist, 2, roll back, earth, so we're reaching out. We've got that dragon footwork with an earth upper body. Then we go wood fist, crossing, pushing back, diagonal, gather, cross the wrists, push back, diagonal, pound the mortar, step in, contain, and explode. Step back, cover with the left, drill with the cross with the right. Step back, cover with the right, cross with the left, cross with the right, roll back, and uppercut. Last time, we'll squeeze it in before we have to let it go for today. So we've got 1 and down, spiral through, and palm, wood fist, snap back earth, wood fist, Phoenix 1, Phoenix 2, pound the mortar, fire, step through, step back, cover earth 1, cover earth 1 and 2, roll back and bear eagle uppercut. Okay, gonna have to leave it there for today. Hopefully it's starting to come together. We'll keep chunking in pieces. We'll keep opening up and talking about how we can look at and develop the techniques inside the form as we go. We'll keep that review of the elements and animals as well. All right, thanks for training today. If you've got questions and you're here live, stick around. Let's talk about those. If not, text or email me. If you're picking it up off the YouTube archive, I can bring answers into the next class for you. Thanks for training.